Yeah, I don't have very good light. I might need this on. Just to give it some light.
Have that water on it?
Yeah, I'm just forgetting. I'm doing this. What do I want back my way? I was gonna try to share. It wouldn't show up. Nobody. There it goes. You. Thanks. Stacy. Christina. Amanda. Mason. Bitch. We'll just start adding people. Steve. Nobody showing up anyway. That's all. No, you're not. You keep doing it. I'm sorry. No kitty. Shalom. I'm just gonna read in the Sefer in Yovheliym, Jubilees. If the cat won't stop getting in the way. Come here. MJ. There we go. Is anybody here? I don't think anybody's here anymore. Hey, I wanted to read in Yovheliym, Jubilees. I was gonna start in chapter 1, so I'll give you time. If just let me know when you're there if you have it. If not, just I have it on the screen, so if people want to follow along. So I was gonna wait a little while, see some more people in here, but this is all. That's okay too. So I'm gonna start with chapter 1, and we'll see where we go from there. I don't know. We're just, as Yahuwah leads, as the Ruach leads, we can go as long as y'all want. So here we go. Chapter 1 of Yovheliym. And it came to pass in the first year of the exodus of the children of Yasharel out of Mitzrayim, in the 3rd month, on the 17th day of the month, that Elohim spoke to Moshe, saying, Come up to me on the mount, and I will give you 2 sapphire stones of the Torah and of the commandment which I have written, that you may teach them. And Moshe went up into the mount of Elohim, and the glory of Yahuwah abode on Mount Sinai, and a cloud overshadowed it 6 days. And he called to Moshe on the 7th day out of the midst of the cloud, and the appearance of the glory of Yahuwah was like a flaming fire on top of the mount. And Moshe was on the mount 40 days and 40 nights, and Elohim taught him the earlier and the latter history of the division of all the days of the Torah testimony. And he said, incline your hearts to every word which I speak to you on this mount, in order that generations may see how I have not forsaken them for all the evils which they have wrought in transgressing the covenant which I established between me and you for their generations this day on Mount Sinai. And thus I will come to pass, when all these calm them, that they will recognize that I am more righteous than they in all their judgments and in all their actions, and they will recognize that I have been truly with them. And do you write yourself all these words which I declare unto you this day, for I know their rebellion and their stiff neck, before I bring them into the land of which I swore to their fathers, to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob, saying, unto your seed I will give a land flowing with milk and honey, and they will eat and be satisfied, and they will turn to strange Elohim, to Elohim which cannot deliver them from aught of their tribulation. And this witness shall be heard for a witness against them. For they will forget all my commandments, even all that I command them. And they will walk after the other nations, and after their uncleanness, and after their shame, and will serve their Elohim, and will prove unto them an offense, and a tribulation, and an affliction, and a snare. And many will perish, and they will be taken captive, and will fall into the hands of the enemy, because they have forsaken my ordinances and my commandments, the feast of my covenants and my Shabbats, and my holy place, which I have sanctified for myself in their midst, and my tabernacle, and my sanctuary, which I have sanctified for myself in the midst of the land, that I should set my name upon it, and that it should dwell there. And they should make to themselves high places, and Asherah poles, and graven images. They will worship each his own graven image, so as to go astray. And they will sacrifice their children to devils, and to all the works of the errors of their heart. And I will send witnesses unto them, that I may witness against them, but they will not hear. I will slay the witnesses also, and they will persecute those who seek the Torah, and they will abrogate and change things so as to work evil before my eyes. I will hide my face from them, and I will deliver them into the hand of the other nations for captivity, and for a prey, and for a devouring. And I will remove them from the midst of the land, and I will scatter them amongst other nations. And they will forget all my Torah, and all my commandments, and all my judgments, and will go astray as the new moons and Shabbats, and feasts, and jubilees, and ordinances. And after this they will turn to me from amongst the other nations with all their heart, and with all their soul, and with all their strength. And I will gather them from amongst all the other nations, and they will seek me, so that I shall be found of them, when they seek me with all their heart, and with all their soul. And I will disclose to them abounding peace with righteousness, and I will remove them the plant of uprightness, with all my heart and with all my soul. And they shall be for a blessing and not for a curse, and they shall be a head and not the tail. And I will build my sanctuary in their midst, and I will tabernacle with them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people in truth and righteousness. And I will not forsake them nor fail them, for I am Yahuwah Elohim. And Moshe fell on his face and prayed and said, O Yahuwah Elohai, do not forsake your people and your inheritance, so that they shall wander in error of their hearts, and do not deliver them into the hands of their enemies, the other nations, lest they should rule over them and cause them to sin against you. Let your mercy, O Yahuwah, be lifted up upon your people, and create in them an upright ruach, and let not the ruach of Baal rule over them, to accurse them before you, and to ensnare them from all the cycles of righteousness, so that they may perish from before your face. But they are your people and your inheritance, which you have delivered with your great power from the hands of Mitzrayim. Create in them a clean heart and a ruach hakodesh, and let them not be ensnared in their sin from henceforth until eternity. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, I know your contrariness and their thoughts, and they will not be obedient till they confess their own sins and the sins of their fathers. And after this they will turn to me in all uprightness, and with all their heart and with all their soul, and I will circumcise the foreskin of their heart and the foreskin of the heart of the seed, and I will create in them a ruach hakodesh, and I will cleanse them, so that they shall not turn away from me from that day unto eternity. And their souls and their souls will cleave to me and to all my commandments, and they will fulfill my commandments, and I will be their father, and they shall be my children. And they all shall be called children of the living Elohim, and every angel and every ruach shall know, yea, they shall know that these are my children, and that I am the Father in uprightness and righteousness, and that I love them. And do you write down for yourself all these words which I declare unto you on this mountain, and first and the last, which shall come to pass in all the divisions of the days in the Torah, and in the testimony, and in the weeks, and the jubilees unto eternity, until I descend and tabernacle with them throughout eternity. And he said to the angel of the presence, write for Moshe from the beginning of creation till my sanctuary had been built among them for all eternity. And Yahuwah will appear to the eyes of all, and all shall know that I am Elohim of Yasharel, and the father of all the children of Yaakov, and the king on Mount Zion, for all eternity. And Zion and Jerusalem shall be holy. And the angel of the presence who went before the camp of Yasharel took the tables of the divisions of the years from the time of creation of the Torah, and of the testimony of the weeks of the Jubilees, according to the individual years, according to all the numbers of Jubilees, according to the years from the day of the new creation, when the heavens and the earth shall be renewed, and all their creation, according to the powers of the heaven, and according to all the creation of the earth, until the sanctuary of Yahuwah shall be made in Jerusalem on Mount Zion, and all the luminaries be renewed for healing and for feast and for blessings for all the elect of Yasharel, and that thus it may be from that day unto all the days of the earth. Hallelujah. So I wanted to see if did anybody want to come up, because I can't remember how to do that. I guess it's like this. Hold on, let me see if I can do this. Guess I can invite y'all. Y'all want to come up? Go. So if you want to come up and share a scripture or your testimony, whatever Yahuwah lays on your heart to share. Because I want to give y'all an opportunity to share your testimony or whatever Yahuwah lays on your heart. You gonna join it or no? No.
What do I do?
Accept it, or you want to come up?
I don't want to come up, but I'm...
Okay, then never mind. Well, I'll go on to the next chapter then. And the angel of the presence spoke to Moshe according to the word of Yahuwah, saying, write the complete history of the creation, how in 6 days Yahuwah Elohim finished all his works, and all that he created, and kept Shabbat on the 7th day, and sanctified it for all ages, and appointed it as a sign for all his works. For on the first day he created the heavens which are above, and the earth, and the waters, and all the ruachas, which serve before him, the angels of the presence, and the angels of sanctification, and the angels of the rock of fire, and the angels of the rock of the winds, and the angels of the rock of the clouds, and of darkness, and of snow, and of hail, and of hoarfrost, and angels of the voices, and of the thunders, and of the lightning, and the angels of the Ruach of cold, and of heat, and of winter, and of spring, and of autumn, and the summer, and of all the Ruach of the creatures which are in the heavens and on earth. He created the abysses and the darkness, even evening and light, night and the light, dawn and day, which he prepared in the knowledge of his heart. And thereupon we saw his works, and praised him, and lauded before him on account of all his works. For 7 great works did he create on the first day. On the second day he created an expanse in the midst of the waters, and the waters were divided on that day. Half of them went up above, and half of them went down below, and the expanse that was in the midst over the face of the whole earth. And there was only work. This was the only work Elohim created on the second day. And on the third day he commanded the waters to pass from off the face of the whole earth into one place, and the dry land to appear. And the waters did so as he commanded them. And they retired from off the face of the earth unto one place outside this expanse. The dry land appeared, and on that day he created them, all the seas according to their separate gathering places, and all the rivers, and the gatherings of the waters in the mountains, and on all the earth, and all the lakes, and all the dew of the earth, and the seed which is sown, and all sprouting things, and fruit-bearing trees, trees of wood, and the garden of Eden in Eden, and all. These 4 great works Elohim created on the third day. On the fourth day he created the sun and the moon and the stars. He set them in the expanse of the heaven, to give light upon all the earth, and to rule over the day and the night, and divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days, and for Shabbats, and for months, and for feasts, and for years, and for Shabbats of years, and for Jubilees, and for all seasons of the years. And it divides the light from the darkness, and for prosperity. And all things may prosper which shoot and grow on the earth. These 3 kinds he made on the 4th day. And on the 5th day he created great sea monsters in the depths of the waters, for these were the first things of flesh that were created by his hands, the fish and everything that moves in the waters, and everything that flies, the birds and all their kind. The sun rose above them to prosper them, and above everything that was on the earth, everything that shoots out of the earth, and all fruit-bearing trees and all flesh. These 3 kinds he created on the 5th day. And on the 6th day he created all the animals of the earth, and all the cattle, and everything that moves on the earth. And all this he created man. A man and a woman created he them, and gave them dominion over all that is upon the earth, and in the seas, and over everything that flies, and over beasts, and over cattle, and over everything that moves on the earth, and over the whole earth. And over all this he gave them dominion. And these 4 kinds he created on the 6th day, and there were altogether 22 kinds. And he finished all his work on the 6th day, all that is in the heavens and on earth, and in the seas and in the abysses, and in the light and in the darkness, and in everything. And he gave us a great sign, the Shabbat, that we should work 6 days, but guard the Shabbat on the 7th day from all work. And all the angels of the presence, and all the angels of sanctification, these 2 great classes, he did bidden us to guard the Shabbat with him in heaven and on earth. And he said unto us, Behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these shall guard the Shabbat. And I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and I will bless them as I have sanctified the Shabbat, and do sanctify it unto myself. Even so I will bless them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim. And I have chosen the seed of Yaakov from amongst all that I have seen, and I have written him down as my firstborn son, and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever, and I will teach them the Shabbat. that they may guard the Shabbat, therefore thereon from all work. And thus he created therein a sign, in accordance with which they should guard the Shabbat with us on the seventh day, to eat and to drink and to bless him, who has created all things as he has blessed, and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all peoples, that they should guard the Shabbats together with us. And he caused his commands to ascend as a sweet savor acceptable before him all the days. There were 22 heads of mankind from Adam to Yaakov, and 22 kinds of work which were made until the seventh day. This is a blessed and holy, and the former also is blessed and holy. This one serves with that one for sanctification and blessing. And to this Yaakov and his seed it was granted that they should always be blessed and kodashim of the first testimony in Torah, even as he has sanctified and blessed the Shabbat on the seventh day. He created heaven and earth and everything that he created in 6 days. And Elohim made the seventh day holy for all his works. Therefore he commanded on its behalf that whosoever does any work thereon die, and that he who defiles it shall surely die. Wherefore do you command the children of Yasharel to observe this day, that they may keep it holy, and not to do therein any work, and not to defile it, as it is holier than all other days. And whosoever profanes it shall surely die, and whosoever does thereon any work shall surely die eternally. That the children of Yasharel may observe this day throughout their generations, and not be rooted out of the land. For it is a holy day, and a blessed day. And everyone who observes it and guards Shabbat thereon from all his work will be holy and blessed throughout all the days like unto us. Declared, and say to the children of Yasharel the Torah of this day both, that they should guard the Shabbat thereon, and that they should not forsake it in error of their hearts. That is, it is against the Torah to do any work thereon which is unseemly, to do thereon their own pleasure, and that they should not prepare thereon anything to be eaten or drunk, and that it is against the Torah to draw water or bring it in or take it out therein through the gates, any burden which they had not prepared for themselves on the 6th day in their dwellings. They shall not bring in nor take out from the house to house on that day, for that day is holy and blessed. That any Jubilee day of Jubilees, on this we keep Shabbat in the heavens before it was made known to any flesh, to guard the Shabbat thereon the earth. And the Creator of all things blessed it. But he did not sanctify all peoples and nations to guard the Shabbat thereon, but Yasharel alone. Them alone he permitted to eat and drink and to guard the Shabbat thereon the earth. And the Creator of all things blessed this day, which he created for blessings and holiness and glory above all days. This Torah and testimony was given to the children of Yasharel as a Torah forever unto their generations. Hallelujah. Do you want to come? Mr. Steve, Brother Steve, you want to come? It's asking me to invite you as a guest. Oh, he's not here anymore. I guess he left. No, it's been... Hi. Oh, thank you, Brandon, for all of your likes and stickers. I'm sorry. Like... just reading the word. Okay. Understand.
I gave you a bunch of likes.
Well, I appreciate it. That's not what I do this for, though. That's my husband, if you're wondering, Bandit. Okay, so this is chapter 3. On the 6th day of the 2nd week, we brought, according to the word of Elohim, unto Adam and all the beasts, and all the cattle, and all the birds, and everything that moves on the earth, and everything that moves in the water, according to their kinds, and according to their types. The beast on the 1st day, cattle on the 2nd day, the birds on the 3rd day, and all that which moves on the earth on the 4th day, and that which moves in the water on the 5th day. And Adam named them all by their respective names, and as he called them, so was their name. And on these 5 days Adam saw all things, all these, male and female, according to every kind that was on the earth. But he was alone, and found no helpmeet for him. And Yahuwah said unto us, It is not good that man should be alone. Let us make a helpmeet for him. And Yahuwah Eloheinu caused a deep sleep to fall upon him, and he slept. And he took for the woman one rib from amongst his ribs, and this rib was the origin of a woman from against his ribs, and he built up the flesh in its stead, and built the woman. And he awakened Adam out of his sleep, and on awakening he rose on the 6th day, and he brought her to him, and he knew her, and said unto her, This is now bone of my bone, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called my woman, because she was taken from her man. Therefore shall man and woman be one. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and cleave unto his woman, and they shall be one flesh. In the 1st week was Adam created, and the rib his woman. In the 2nd week he showed her unto him. For this reason the commandment was given to keep in their defilement, for a man 7 days, and for a woman twice 7 days. And after Adam had completed 40 days in the land where he had been created, he brought him into the Garden of Eden to till the ground in it. But his woman they brought in on the 80th day. And after this she entered into the Garden of Eden. And for this reason the commandment is written on the heavenly tablets in regard to her that gives birth. If she bears a male, she remain in her uncleanness 7 days, according to the 1st week of days, and 3 days shall she remain in the blood of her purifying, and she shall not touch any sanctified thing, nor enter into the sanctuary, until she accomplishes these days which are enjoyed in the case of a male child. Hold on, lost. In case of a female child, she shall remain in her unclean 2 weeks, according to the 1st week, 66 days in the blood of her purification, and they will be in all 80 days. And when she has completed these 80 days, we brought her into the Garden of Eden, for it is holier than all the earth, besides every tree that is planted in it is holy. Therefore there was ordained regarding her who bears a male or a female child the statute of those days, that she should touch no sanctified thing, nor enter into the sanctuary until these days for the male or female child were accomplished. This is the Torah and testimony which was written down for Yasharel, in order that they should observe all the days. And in the 1st week of the 1st Jubilee, Adam and his woman were in Garden of Eden for 7 years, tilling the garden and gardening it. He gave him work. We instructed him to do everything that is suitable for tillage. And he tilled the garden, and was naked, and knew it not, and was not ashamed. And he protected the garden from the birds and the beasts and the cattle, and gathered its fruit, and ate, and put aside a remnant for himself and for his woman, and put aside that which was being kept. And after the completion of the 7 years, which he had completed there, 7 years exactly, and in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, the serpent came and reproached the woman. And the serpent said to the woman, Has Elohim commanded you, saying, You shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And she said to it, Of all the fruit of the trees of the garden, Elohim has said unto us, Eat. The fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim said unto us, Ye shall not eat thereof, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for Elohim knows that on the day ye shall eat thereof, your eyes will be opened, and you will be as Elohim, and ye will know good and evil. And the woman saw the tree, that it was agreeable and pleasant to the eye, and there its fruit was good for food, and she took thereof and ate. And when she had first covered her shame with fig leaves, she gave thereof to Adam, and he ate, and his eyes were opened, and he saw that he was naked. And he took fig leaves and sewn them together, and made an apron for himself, and covered his shame. Elohim cursed the serpent, and was wroth with it forever. And he was wroth with the woman, because she hearkened to the voice of the serpent, and did eat. And he said unto her, I will greatly multiply your sorrow of your pain, and sorrow you shall bring forth children. and your return shall be unto your man. He will rule over you. And to Adam also he said, because you have hearkened unto the voice of your woman, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat thereof, cursed be the ground for your sake. Thorns and thistles shall it bring forth you. And you shall eat your bread in the sweat of your face, till you return to the earth from whence you were taken. For earth you are, and unto earth you shall return. And he made for him coats of skin, and clothed them, and sent them forth from the Garden of Eden. And on that day on which Adam went forth from the garden, he offered as a sweet savor an offering, frankincense, galbanum, and stach, and spice in the morning with rising the sun from a day when he covered its shame. And on that day was closed the mouth of all beasts, and of the cattle, and the birds, and whatsoever walks, and whatsoever moves, so that they could no longer speak, for they had all spoken one with another, with one lip, and with one tongue. And he set out of the Garden of Eden all flesh that was in the Garden of Eden. And all the flesh was scattered according to its kinds, and according to its types, unto the places which had been created for them. And to Adam alone did he give the wherewithal to cover his shame of all the beasts of cattle. On this account it is prescribed on the heavenly tablets as touching all those who know the judgment of the Torah, that they should cover their shame, and should not uncover themselves as the other nations uncovered themselves. And on the new moon of the 4th month, Adam and his woman went forth from the Garden of Eden, and they dwell in the land of Eldah, in the land of their creation. And Adam called the name of his woman Hua. And they had no son till the first Jubilee. After this he knew her. Now he tilled the land as he had been instructed in the Garden of Eden. Okay, so now we have chapter 4. In the 3rd week, in the 2nd Jubilee, she gave birth to Canaan. And in the 4th, she gave birth to Havel. And in the 5th, she gave birth to her daughter Alwyn. In the 1st year of the 3rd Jubilee, Cain slew Havel, because Elohim accepted the sacrifice of Havel, and did not accept the offering of Cain. And he slew him in the field, and his blood cried from the ground to heaven, complaining because he had slain him. And Yahuwah reproved Cain because of Havel, because he had slain him. And he made him a fugitive on the earth because of the blood of his brother. He accursed him upon the earth. On this account it is written on the heavenly tablets, cursed is he who smites his neighbors treacherously. And let all who have seen and heard be it. And the man who has seen Enoch declared it, let him be accursed as the other. And for this reason we announced when we come before Yahuwah Eloheinu all the sin which is committed in heaven and on earth, and in light and in darkness and everywhere. And Adam's woman mourned for Havel 4 weeks of years. And in the 4th year of the 5th week they became joyful. And Adam knew his woman again, and she bore him a son, and he called his name Sheth. For he said, Yahuwah has raised up a second to us on the earth instead of Havel, for Cain slew him. And in the 6th week he begat his daughter Azorah. And Cain took Alwyn his sister to be his woman, and she became Hanuk on the close of the 4th Jubilee. And in the 1st year of the 1st week of the 5th Jubilee, houses were built in the earth. Cain built a city and called its name after the name of his son Hanuk. And Adam knew Hua his woman, and she bore yet 9 sons. And in the 5th week of the 5th Jubilee, Sheth took Azorah his sister to be his woman, and in the 4th year of the 6th week she bore him Enosh. And he began to call on the name of Yahuwah on the earth. And in the 7th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, Enosh took Noam his sister to be his woman. And she bore him a son in the 3rd year of the 5th week, and called his name Canaan. And at the close of the 8th Jubilee, Canaan took Mualeath, and she bore him a son in the 1st week, the 3rd year of the week, and he called his name Mahalael. In the 2nd week of the 10th Jubilee, Mahalael took unto him to be his woman Dinah, the daughter of Berechiel, the daughter of his father's brother, and she bore him a son in the 3rd week in the 6th year, and she called his name Yared. For his days, and the angel of Yahuwah descended on the earth. Those who are named the Watcher, they should instruct the children of men, and they should do judgment and uprightness on earth. In the 11th Jubilee, Yared took to himself a woman, and her name was Barakah, the daughter of Razuyal, a daughter of his father's brother, in the 4th week of this Jubilee. And she bore him a son in the 5th week, in the 4th year of the Jubilee. And she called his name Hanuk. And he is the first young men that are born on the earth who learned writing and knowledge and wisdom, who wrote according to the order of their mouths, that men might know the years according to their order in their separate months. And he was the first to write and he testified to the sons of men among the generations of the earth, and recounted the weeks of the Jubilees, and made known to them the days of the years, and set in order the months and the Shabbats of the years that we made them known to them. And what was and what will be a vision of sleep, as it will happen to the children of men throughout their generations until the day of judgment. He saw and understood everything, and wrote his testimony, and placed the testimony on earth for all the children of men and their generations. And in the 12th Jubilee, in the 7th week thereof, he took to himself a woman, and her name was Edna, the daughter of his father. In this week she bore him a son, and he called his name Methuselah. And he was moreover with the angels of Elohim these 6 jubilees of years, and they showed him everything which was on the earth and in the heavens, and the rule of the sun, and he wrote down everything. And he testifies to the watchers who had sinned with the daughters of men, for these had begun to unite themselves so as to be defiled with the daughters of men. And Hanuk testified against them all. And he was taken from amongst the children of men, and we conducted him into the Garden of Eden in majesty and honor. And behold, there he writes down the condemnation and the judgment of the world, and all the wickedness of the children of men. And on account of it, Elohim brought the waters of the flood upon all the land of Eden, for there was set as a sign that they should testify against all the children of men, that he should recount all the deeds of the generations until the day of condemnation. And he burnt an incense of the sanctuary, even sweet spices acceptable before Yahuwah on the mount. For Yahuwah has 4 places on the earth, the Garden of Eden, and the Mount of the East, and this mountain, on which you are this day, Mount Sinai, and Mount Zion, which will be sanctified in the new creation for a sanctification of the earth. Through it will the earth be sanctified from all its guilt and uncleanness throughout the generations of this world. And in the 14th Jubilee, Methuselah took unto himself a woman, Edna, the daughter of Azriel, the daughter of his father's brother, in the 1st year of this week, and she begat a son, and called his name Lamech. And in the 15th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, Lamech took to himself a woman, and her name was Bentinos, the daughter of Berechiel, the daughter of his father's brother. And in this week she bore him a son, and he called his name Noach, saying, This one will comfort me from my trouble and all my work, and for the ground which Yahuwah has cursed. And at the close of the 19th Jubilee, in the 7th week, in the 6th year thereof, Adam died, and all his sons buried him in the land of his creation. And he was the first to be buried in the earth. And he lapsed 70 years of 1,000 years. For 1,000 years are as one day in the testimony of the heavens. And therefore was it written concerning the tree of knowledge, on the day that ye eat thereof ye shall die. For this reason he did not complete the years of this day, for he died during it. And at the close of this jubilee, Cain was killed after him in the same year, for his house fell upon him, and he died in the midst of his house. And he was killed by its stones. For with a stone he had killed Havel, and by a stone was he killed in righteousness, in righteous judgment. For this reason it was ordained on the heavenly tablets, with the instrument with which a man kills his neighbor, with the same shall he be killed. After the manner that he wounded him, in like manner shall they deal with him. In the 25th Jubilee, Noah took himself a woman, and her name was the daughter of Rachiel, the daughter of his father's brother. In the first year, in the 5th week, and in the 3rd year thereof, she bore him Shem. In the 5th year thereof, she bore him Chem. In the 1st year, in the 6th week, she bore him Japheth. This is the 5th chapter. And it came to pass when the children of men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the angels of Elohim saw them on a certain year of this Jubilee, that they were beautiful to look upon. And they took themselves women of all whom they chose. And they bore unto them sons, and they were Nephilim. And the iniquity increased on the earth, and all flesh corrupted its ways alike, men and cattle and beasts and birds and everything that walks on the earth. All of them corrupted their ways and their orders, and they began to devour each other, and iniquity increased on the earth, and every imagination of thought of all men was this evil continually. And Elohim looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, and all flesh had corrupted its orders, and all that were upon the earth had wrought all manner of evil before his eyes. And he said that he would destroy men and all flesh upon the face of the earth which he had created. But Noah found grace before the eyes of Yahuwah, and against the angels whom he had set upon the earth he was exceedingly wroth. And he gave commandment to root them out of all dominion. And he bade us to bind them in the depths of the earth. And behold, they are bound in the midst of them. They are kept separate. And against their sons went forth a command from before his face, that they should be smitten with the sword, and be removed from under heaven. And he said, My ruach shall not always abide on men, for they also are flesh, and their days shall be 120 years. And he set his sword in their midst, that each should slay his neighbor. And they began to slay each other, till they all fell by the sword, and were destroyed from the earth. Their fathers were witnesses of their destruction, and after this they were bound to the earth forever, until the day of a great condemnation, when judgment is executed on all those who have corrupted their ways and their works before Yahuwah. And he destroyed all from their places. And there was not left one of them whom he judged not according to all their wickedness. And he made for all his works a new and righteous nature, so that they should not sin in their whole nature forever, but should be all righteous, each in his kind always. And the judgment of all this ordained and written on the heavenly tablets in righteousness, even the judgment of all who depart from the path which is ordained for them to walk in. And if they walk not therein, judgment is written down for every creature, for every kind. And there is nothing in heaven or on earth, or in light, or in darkness, or in Sheol, or in the depth, or in the place of darkness which is not judged. And all their judgments are ordained and written and engraved. In regard to all he will judge, and great according to his greatness, and the small according to his smallness, and each according to his way. He is not one who will regard the person of any, nor is he one who will receive gifts. If he says that he will execute judgment on each, if one gave everything that he has on earth, he will not regard the gifts or the person of any, nor accept anything in his hands, for he is a righteous judge. And the children of Yasharel, it has been written and ordained, If they turn to him in righteousness, he will forgive all their transgressions and pardon all their sins. It is written and ordained that he will show mercy on all who turn from all their guilt once each year. As for all those who corrupt their ways and their thoughts before the flood, no man's person was accepted, save that of Noah alone. For his person was accepted in behalf of his sons, whom Elohim saved from the waters of the flood on his account, for his heart was righteous in all his ways, according as it was commanded regarding him, and he had not departed from aught that he was ordained of for them. And Yahuwah said that he would destroy everything which was upon the earth, both man and cattle and beast and fowl of the air, and that which moves on the earth. And he commanded Noah to make him an ark, that he might save himself from the waters of the flood. And Noah made an ark in all respects as he commanded him, in 27th Jubilee of years, in the first year on the new moon of the first month. And he entered in the 6th year thereof, in the 2nd month on the new moon of the 2nd month, till the 16th. And he entered all that we brought to him, all into the ark. And Yahuwah closed it from without on the 17th evening. And Yahuwah opened 7 floodgates of heaven, and the mouths of the fountains of the great deep, 7 mouths in number. And the floodgates began to pour down water from heaven 40 days and 40 nights. And the fountains of the deep also went up waters, until the whole world was full of water, and the water increased upon the earth. 15 cubits did the water rise above all the high mountains, and the ark was lifted up above the earth, and it moved upon the face of the waters, and the water prevailed on the face of the earth 5 months 150 days. And the ark went and rested on the top of the Lubar, one of the mountains of Ararat. And on the new moon, 4th month, the fountain of the great deep was closed, and the floodgates of the were restrained. And on the new moon of the 7th month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were opened, and the water began to descend unto the deep below. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen. On the new moon of the 1st month, the earth became visible, and the waters disappeared from above the earth in the 5th week, in the 7th year thereof. And on the 17th day in the 2nd month, the earth was dry. And on the 27th thereof, he opened the ark and sent forth from it beasts and cattle and birds and every moving thing. And on the new, I was going to take a little break. See anybody see anything? No, not yet. I'm going to try there. Let's see. Bear with me. I think that's all, yeah. People. So this is the 6th chapter. And on the new moon of the 3rd month, he went forth from the ark and built an altar on that mountain. He made atonement for the earth, and took a kid and made atonement by its blood for all the guilt of the earth, for everything that has been on it had been destroyed, save those that were in the ark with Noah. And he placed the fat thereof on the altar. He took an ox, and a goat, and a sheep, and kids, and salt, and turtle dove, and the young of a dove, and placed an ascending smoke sacrifice on the altar, and poured thereon an offering mingled with oil, and sprinkled wine, and strewed frankincense over everything, and caused a goodly savor to arise, acceptable for Yahuwah. And Yahuwah smelled the goodly savor, and he cut a covenant with him that there should not be any more a flood to destroy the earth, and that all the days of the earth, seed time and harvest, should never cease. Cold and heat, and summer and winter, day and night, should not change their order nor cease forever. And you increase ye and multiply upon the earth, and become many upon it, and be blessed upon it. The fear of you and the dread of you I will inspire in everything that is on the earth and in the sea. Behold, I have given unto you all beasts, and all winged things, and everything that moves on the earth, and the fish of the waters, all things for food, as green herbs. I have given you all things to eat, but flesh with blood. Wait, hold on. But I lost my place. Sorry. But with the life thereof, with the blood ye eat, for the life of all flesh, and let your blood of your lives be required. At the hand of every man, at the hand of every beast will I require the blood of man. Whoso sheds men's blood, by men shall his blood be shed, for it is the image of Elohim made he man. And you increase ye, and multiply on the earth. And Noah and his son swore that they would not eat any blood that was on any flesh. And he cut a covenant before you forever throughout all generations of the earth in this month. And on this account he spoke to you that you should cut a covenant with the children of Yasharal in this month upon the mountain, with an oath, and that you should sprinkle blood upon them because of all the works of the covenant which Yahuwah made with them forever. This testimony is written concerning you, that you should observe it continually, so that you should not eat any day any blood of beasts or birds or cattle during all the days of the earth. And the men who eat the blood of beasts or of cattle or of birds during all the days of the earth, he and his seed shall be rooted out of the land. And do you command the children of Yasharel to eat no blood, so that their names and their seed may be before Yahuwah Eloheinu continually. And for this Torah there is no limit of days, for it is forever. They shall observe it throughout their generations, so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar. Every day and at the time of morning and evening they shall forgiveness on your behalf perpetually before Yahuwah, that they may guard it and not be rooted out. And he gave to Noah and his sons a sign that there should not again be a flood on the earth. His bow in the cloud for a sign, an eternal covenant, that there should not again be a flood on the earth to destroy it in all the days of the earth. For this reason it is ordained and written on the heavenly tablets, that they should celebrate the feast of Shavuot in this month once a year, to renew the covenant each year. And this whole feast was celebrated in heaven from the day of creation to the days of Noah, 26 jubilees and 5 weeks of years. And Noah and his sons observed it 7 jubilees and 1 week of years, to the day of Noah's death. And from the day of Noah's death his sons did away with it until the day of Abraham, and they ate blood. Abraham observed it, and Isaac and Yaakov and his children observed it up to your days. And in your days the children of Yasharel forgot it, until ye celebrated anew on this mountain. And do you command the children of Yasharel to observe this feast in all their generations, for a commandment unto you? One day in a year, in this month, they shall celebrate the feast, for it is the feast of Shavuot, and the feast of first fruits of the wheat harvest. This feast is twofold and of double nature, according to what is written and engraven concerning it. Celebrate it. For I have written in the Sefer of the first Torah, in that I have written for you, that you should celebrate in season, one day in the year, and I explained to you its sacrifices, that the children of Yasharel should remember and should celebrate it throughout their generations, in this month, one day in every year. And on the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the 4th month, and on the new moon of the 7th month, and on the new moon of the 10th month are the days of remembrance, and the days of the seasons, in the 4 divisions of the year. These are written and ordained in the testimony forever. And Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations. forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial unto him. And on the new moon of the first month he was bidden to make for himself an ark. And on that day the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. And on the new moon of the fourth month, the mouths of the depths of the abyss beneath closed. And on the new moon of the seventh month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were opened, and the waters began to descend into them. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. And on this account he ordained them for himself as feasts, for a memorial forever. And thus they are they ordained. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. Each had 13 weeks, from one to another past their memorial, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks of days, and these will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraven and ordained on the heavenly tablets. And there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year. And concerning it, celebrate it, for I have written it in the Sefer of the first Torah, in that which I have written for you, that you should celebrate it in its season, one day in the year. And I explained to you its sacrifices, that the children of Yisrael should remember and should celebrate it throughout their generations, on this month, one day in every year. And on the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the fourth month, and on the new moon of the 7th month, and on the new moon of the 10th month are the days of remembrance, and the days of seasons, and the 4 divisions of the year. These are written on and ordained on its tests as a testimony forever. And Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations forever, so that they become thereby a memorial unto him. And on the new moon of the first month he was bidden to make for himself an ark. And on that day the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. And on the new moon of the fourth month, the mouths of the depths of the abysses beneath were closed. And on the new moon of the 7th month, in the mouths of the abyss of the earth were opened, and the waters began to descend unto them. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen. Noah was glad, and on this account he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever. And thus are they ordained. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. Each had 13 weeks, from one to another, past their memorial, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the commandments will be 52 weeks of days, and these will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraved and ordained on the heavenly tablets. And there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year from year to year. Command you the children of Yisrael, that they shall observe the years according to the reckoning 364 days, and these will constitute a complete year. And they will not disturb its time from its day and from its feast, for everything will fall out in them according to their testimony, and they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feast. But if they do neglect and do not observe according to them, will disturb all their season and years, and will be judged from this order. And they will disturb the season, the year, and they will neglect their ordinances. And all the children of Yisrael will forget and will not mind the paths of the years, and will get the new moons and the seasons and Shabbats, and they will go wrong to all the order of the years. For I know, and from henceforth not of my own device, but written for me. And on the heavenly tablets the division of days is ordained, lest they forget the feast of the covenant, and walk according to the feast of their nation, after their error and after their ignorance. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon, how it disturbs the seasons and comes in from year to year 10 days too soon. For this reason the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order, and make it an abominable day, the day of testimony, an unclean day, a feast day. And they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean with the holy. For they will go wrong in Shabbat and feasts and Jubilees. For this reason I command and testify you that you testify to them. For after death your children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only. For this reason they will go wrong as the new moons and seasons, and feasts, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. Okay. Take a little break here. A little breather. Okay, try that. Bear with me. Okay. Now, this is chapter 6. In the 7th week, in the 1st year thereof, in this Jubilee, Noah planted vines on the mountain on which the ark had rested, named Lar, on one of the Ararat mountains, and they produced fruit in the 4th year. He did guard their fruit, and gathered it in this year, in the 7th month. He made wine therefore, and put it into the vessel, and kept it until the 5th year, unto the 1st day, on the new moon of the 1st month. And he celebrated with joy and the day of this feast. And he made an ascending smoke sacrifice unto Yahuwah, 1 young ox, 1 ram, 7 sheep, each a year old, and a kid of the goats, that he made make atonement thereby for himself and his sons. He prepared the kid first, and placed some of its blood on the flesh that was on the altar which he had made. And in the fat he laid the altar where he had made the ascending smoke sacrifice. And the ox and the ram and the sheep he laid all their flesh upon the altar. And he placed all their offerings mingled with oil upon it. And afterwards he sprinkled wine on the fire which he had previously made on the altar. And he placed incense on the altar, and caused a sweet savor to ascend acceptable before Yovheliym. And he rejoiced and drank of this wine, he and his children, with joy. And it was evening, and he went into his tent, and being drunken, he lay down and slept, and he was uncovered in his tent as he slept. And Ham saw Noah, his father, naked, and went forth and told his 2 brethren without. And Shem took his garment and arose, he and Japheth, and they placed the garment on their shoulders and went backward, and covered the shame of their father, and their faces were backward. And Noah awoke from his sleep, and knew all that his younger son had done him. And he cursed his son, and said, Cursed be Canaan, an enslaved servant shall he be unto his brethren. And he blessed Shem, and said, Blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant, and Elohim shall enlarge Japheth, and Elohim shall dwell in the dwellings of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And Ham knew that his father had cursed his younger son. He was displeased that he had cursed his son, and he parted from his father, he and his sons with him, Cush and Mitzrayim, Put and Canaan. And he built for himself a city, called its name after the name of his woman, Naela Tamauk. That's a fun one to say. And Japheth saw it and became envious of his brother. And he too built for himself a city, and he named its name after the name of his woman, Adatanesis. And Shem drew with his father Noah, and he built a city close to his father on the mountain. And he too called its name after the name of his woman, Sedek Telav. And behold, these three cities are near Lubar. Sedek Telavav, fronting the mountain on the east, and Nael Tamauk on the south, and Adatanesis toward the east. And these are the sons of Shem: Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, his son, was born 2 years, and after the flood, Ludi, and Aram, the son of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Yavin, Tubal, and Meshach, and Tharek. These are the sons of Noah. And on the 28th Jubilee, Noah began to enjoin upon his sons the ordinances and commandments and all the judgments that he knew, and he exhorted his sons to observe righteousness, and to cover the shame of their flesh, and to bless their Creator, and honor father and mother, and love their neighbor, and guard their souls from fornication and uncleanness and iniquity. For owing to these three things came the flood upon the earth, namely owing to the fornication wherein the watchers against the Torah of their ordinances went a-whoring after the daughters of men, and took themselves women of all which they chose, and they made a beginning of uncleanness. They begat sons of the Nephilim, and they were all unlike, and they devoured one another. And the Nephilim slew the Nephil, and the Nephil slew the Elio, and the Elio mankind, and one man another, and everyone sold himself to work iniquity, to shed much blood, and the earth was filled with iniquity. After this they sinned against the beasts and the birds, and all that moves and that walks on the earth. Much blood was shed on the earth, and every imagination and desire of men imagined vanity and evil continually. And Yahuwah destroyed everything from off the face of the earth. And because of the blood which they had shed on the earth, he destroyed everything. And we were left, I and you, my sons, everything that entered with us into the ark. And behold, I see your works before me, that ye do not walk in righteousness. For in paths of destruction ye have begun to walk, and ye are parting one from another, and are envious one of another. And so it comes that ye are not in harmony, my sons. Behold, the devils have begun their seductions against you and against your children. And now I fear on your behalf that after my death you will shed the blood of men upon the earth, and that ye too will be destroyed from the face of the earth. For whoso sheds men's blood, and whoso eats the blood of any flesh, shall all be destroyed from the earth. And there shall not be left any man that eats blood, or that sheds the blood of men on the earth, nor shall there be left to him any seed or descendants living under heaven, for into Sheol shall they go, into the place of condemnation shall they descend, into the darkness of the deep shall they all be removed by a violent death. There shall be no blood seen upon you; of all the blood there shall be all the days in which ye have killed any beast, or cattle, or whatsoever upon earth, and work ye a good work in your souls by covering that which has been shed on the face of the earth. And ye shall not be like him who eats with blood, but guard yourself, that none may eat blood before you. Cover blood, for thus have I commanded to testify to you, and your children, together with all flesh. And suffer not the soul to be eaten with the flesh, that your blood, which is your life, may not be required at the hand of any flesh that sheds it on the earth. For the earth will not be clean from the blood which has been shed upon it. Only the blood of him that shed it will the earth be purified throughout all its generations. And now, my children, hearken, work judgment and righteousness, that ye may be planted in righteousness over the face of the whole earth. And your glory lifted before my Elohim, who saved me from the waters of the flood. And behold, ye will go and build for yourselves cities, and plant in them all the plants that are upon the earth, and moreover all the fruit-bearing trees. For 3 years the fruit of everything that is eaten will not be gathered, and in the 4th year its fruit will be accounted holy, and they will offer the firstfruits acceptable before El Elyon, who created the heaven and earth and all things. Them offer in abundance in the first of the wine and oil as firstfruits on the altar of Yahuwah, who receives it. And what is left, let the servants of the house of Yahuwah eat before the altar, which receives it. And in the 5th year make ye a release, so that ye release it in righteousness and uprightness, and ye shall be righteous, and all that you plant shall prosper. For thus the father of your fathers commanded Methuselah his son, and Methuselah his son Lamech, and Lamech commanded me all the things which his father commanded him. And also I will give you commandments, my sons, as Hanuk commanded his son, the first Jubilees while still alive, living. The 7th in his generation he commanded and testified to his sons and to his sons' sons until the day of death.